Much more on the Michigan story a little bit later. Don't worry. Sun star Chris Paul, unfortunately, going to miss 6 to 8 weeks with a right thumb injury. He has a fracture, a source confirmed to Tim Bontemps. Paul, who was hurt last Wednesday versus the Rockets, came off the bench for Team LeBron in the All-Star game and played 2 minutes. Listen to this, guys. He's the first recipient of the Kobe and Gigi Bryant WNBA Advocacy Award, which recognizes significant contributions to the advancement of girls and women's basketball, along with advocacy for the WNBA. I wanted to make sure to mention that. Just major props to him and all the work he does in the community. Here's how Phoenix looks without him. The Suns have played 873 minutes this season without Paul on the floor. They outscored teams by just 4.2 points per 100 possessions with him off the court compared to 10.5 with him on the floor. That difference of 6.3 is the best mark on the team. Perk, I'll start with you. How does the CP3 injury impact the West?
Well, I don't know how it's going to impact the West because I feel like the Suns have such a good team, such a good culture, that they're still going to be a top 5 team in the Western Conference. Like, they didn't create so much space, Molly and Stephen A., that they're not just going to fall down into some play-in tournament. But I will say this. I believe Devin Booker is a superstar. Stephen A., you believe that Devin Booker is a superstar. Molly, you believe that Devin Booker is a superstar. Now it's time for Devin Booker to prove to us that he's a superstar, that he could be a superstar and win games without Chris Paul. Because no matter how we want to look at it, the fact of the matter is that Devin Booker has not showed us that he's capable of winning games without Chris Paul yet. And this is his time to show us that he's capable of being not only a superstar and getting buckets, but being a leader of this team and going out there and keeping the boat afloat and going out there and leading his team to victories.
I'm not sure I agree with you about that, Kendrick Perkins, and I'll explain to you why in a minute. Here's the first thing that jumped to my mind. First, let me get this out the way. Here's the first thing that jumped to my mind when I learned that Chris Paul was going to be out. I spoke to him this weekend, but it was before the news came down that he was out. He was going to be out 6 to 8 weeks. The first thing that came to my mind is Phoenix is losing the West. First thing that came to my mind. Because I'm thinking 6 to 8 weeks out, even though knowing Chris Paul, he's going to still be with the team. He's going to still be running practices with Monty Williams, for crying out loud. He's going to still be in the guys' faces, in their ears. He's going to still be traveling with the team. He's going to be that natural-born leader that he is. He is a floor general extraordinaire. And when you consider the greatness of CP3, there's going to be a precipitous drop-off without him being on the court. So I look at Phoenix, and I expect Golden State to keep coming, okay? Now, that doesn't mean that CP3 ain't going to be ready for the playoffs, because he will be. And when he's ready, obviously that's going to make them exponentially better. And plus, his legs are going to be rested because he would not have been playing, using those legs for the next 6 to 8 weeks. So all of those things come into consideration. But since I picked the Warriors from Jump Street, this is even more of a reason not to jump off that wagon. Okay, that's one thing. That's one thing, all right? Plus, I expect Draymond Green back in about 3 weeks. I think Wiseman's going to be back around the same time as well. That's an additional big body for them. We'll see what happens. Let me address your point about Devin Booker. I would remind you that 3 years before Chris Paul ever arrived in Phoenix, Devin Booker was averaging 25 a game. The brother puts up buckets. You know this better than me, KP. There's a difference between scoring points and running the show and being that quintessential leader. You don't teach what Chris Paul has. Everybody don't have that. And basically what you're saying to me, KP, is that you're going to hold Devin Booker accountable for essentially not being CP3 because he's going to get his points. He's going to produce points-wise. But when you ask him to do the other stuff, KP, I ask you a sincere question, and I'll give it to you. How many people do you know has the kind of leadership ability that CP3 has?
But Stephen A., that's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is I'm not asking Devin Booker to be CP3. But I have seen Devin Booker come out of a game and have 30 points and 10 assists. I'm seeing if Devin Booker is ready to take that step, that next level of greatness. When you're able to get your 25 and get others around you shots and get them 10 to 12 points, like a Ja Morant, like a Luka Doncic, like a Trae Young, that's what I'm ready to see out of Devin Booker. And in actions of him doing that, let it result into wins. I'm ready to see that part of Devin Booker grow. Not Devin Booker just knowing as one of the most prolific scorers. I want to see Devin Booker elevate his game and say, I'm going to go get my 25 and 30, and I'm also going to get these other guys involved. You telling me Devin Booker don't have the capability of doing that? I'm not asking him to be CP3, but I'm asking him to rise to the occasion and show that he got a different level to elevate his game. Jason Tatum doing it right now in Boston.
Well, my response to that would be players who were already involved, and Monty Williams, like Devin Booker didn't have the services of Monty Williams available to him as a coach along with that staff until a couple of years ago. So we get that part. But in the end, what it comes down to, if you tell me that Devin Booker is going to be the Devin Booker that before CP3 arrived, that he's going to put up buckets at a very decent, if not good, shooting percentage, his efficiency is going to be there, his point production is going to be there, then as far as I'm concerned, everything else is really, really about Monty Williams. Because my thing is that, listen, when I think about CP3 and the floor generalship that he brings, I just don't see people, and I know you're saying you're not asking Devin Booker to do that, but how do you replace CP3? How do you do that? Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.